Сегодня утром, привет. Сегодня мой свободный день. А у меня нет работы сегодня. Спасибо Богу. Спасибо Бог. У меня нет работы сегодня. Завтра у меня работа, потому что я обычно работаю в выходные. Пятница, суббота, воскресенье. Пятница, суббота, воскресенье. У меня обычно работа выходные. Если понимаешь, о чем я. Сегодня утром у меня интересный журнал. Как выглядишь? Один из моих любимых журнал. Называется по-английски Scientific American. И особенно тема томное веселение, томное веселение, томное веселение, томный веселений. И давай мы будем начинать читать журнал вместе. И я хочу сказать, прежде всего, даже если война, даже если разница между страна и политика, разница, мы должны полагаться друг на друга, если понимаешь, о чем я. Я надеюсь, что это было ясно. Давай начнем. The Cosmic Surprise по-английски, как выглядишь. Scientists discovered dark energy more than 25 years ago. They're still trying to figure out what it is. К сожалению, по-моему, не самые лучшие ученые во время работают. Не работают самые лучшие ученые. Самые лучшие ученые, большинство из них никогда не получается степень университет. К сожалению, потому что много умный человек, умные люди, много из разные прихождения, разные ситуации, потому что много сами умный человек, может быть, у него нет денег на степень университет. И поэтому особенно это был самый богатый человек, который заплатит на университет, к сожалению. Что-то про Китай. Euclid isn't the only project that is paranormally... Еще раз, пожалуйста. Euclid isn't the only project that is panoramically probing these questions. China's, I don't know how to say that, Wanchin space telescope scheduled to launch in 2025 is designed to map distant galaxies across 40% of the sky at a resolution similar to that of the Hubble Space Telescope, according to the state-run news agency Xinhua. The ground-based dark energy spectroscopic instrument, DESI. Let me say it one more time for the subtitles. Dark Energy Spectroscopic Instrument DESI at the Kitt Peak National Observatory in Arizona is also probing the sky for BAOs, and NASA's Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, expected to launch in 2027, will also bring Hubble-like resolution to its own expansive survey of cosmic structure as it looks towards the center of the Milky Way for signs of Greek gravitational lensing and more. Очень интересно сегодня. Scanning the cosmos for dark matter. Начнем. Давай найдем что-то очень интересное. Я уже знаю, что я искать. И я искаю. Я пытаюсь искать что-то очень интересное. И скоро ты будешь видеть, что если понимаешь, о чем я. И almost почти me будет быть там. Okay, here we go. This is what I wanted. Вот это. The black hole information paradox. And let's read this together. For almost half a century, physicists agonized over the question of what happens to the stuff that falls into a black hole. If, as theory predicts, black holes destroy information about everything that has ever fallen in, then our theories of nature are in deep foundational trouble. In recent years, though, scientists made a breakthrough that might finally solve the puzzle. In 1974, Stephen Hawking realized that black holes evaporate. Just like a puddle of water out in the sun, a black hole will slowly shrink. A black hole will slowly shrink, just like a puddle of water out in the sun. A black hole will slowly shrink, particle by particle, until nothing is left at all. So, black holes especially interest me. Quantaya physica, theory, quantaya physica theory, что пространство пустоты, не вообще пустоты. Вместо вдвоем называется виртуальная партикл постоянно вышли из vacuum. So I tried to translate that into Russian on the spot. I didn't pre-look that up, like a lot of people would probably just pre-look that up, which probably makes more sense because that's just, but anyways, I just tried to just translate something on the spot. That seems to break a fundamental law of physics, which says that information can never be destroyed. This is the paradox. In the past few years, a unique solution has revealed itself: wormholes. Wormholes are theoretical bridges in space-time that connect two distant spots through a shortcut. So, unfortunately, and this is the big but, um, scientists today, it's more than just knowing. 100 years ago, knowing was half the battle, right? Knowing. We must know how the universe works. Now, scientists have reached the point where we know, but we have to take a responsibility to um, guard the planet. We have to take a responsibility to protect our future. And we have to use our knowledge of the universe, which sometimes means using knowledge, sometimes means not saying anything and not revealing what we know. This is why ancient societies like the Illuminati, they get off. Funny how I was about to word that. I was just thinking in my head. The Illuminati gets off on not telling you the truth. The Illuminati gets off on not telling you the right information. The Illuminati gets off on deceiving you. I don't think it's that they get off on it. I think that it's to protect society. Um, because even though I'm the type of person that generally would only I'm actually the person that wants the information to be out in public for everyone. But secret societies, which are probably have recruited the top scientists from the top universities of status, right? Secret societies don't want that information to be public. And they know things that we don't know. But and imagine it's extremely dangerous if someone suddenly said they knew something that a secret society like the Illuminati didn't want people to know. If the information is that valuable that it should not be released to the public, if that's how they feel, then imagine if a scientist, like anyone, for example, suddenly came forward and discovered something big about the universe and tried to reveal it to the public. And if scientists, as from these elite societies like the Illuminati, wanted this information to be sealed and kept from the public, what do you think is going to happen to that scientist that suddenly brilliantly discovers something and then goes to try to publicize it? So science is more controlled than you think, really is. Science is very controlled. And scientists today, it's like a war between scientists and other scientists, right? In World War II, it was like Germans versus Russians versus Americans versus Japanese. Now it's a war of the secret societies. We are currently in a war. World War IV is the war of secret societies. Illuminati, the Freemasons, um, Planet Saturn Club is not really a secret society. It's more of an open, everyone can join if you have a passion for science kind of club. Planet Saturn Club. But the secret societies that I'm talking about are like the Illuminati, the Freemasons, even a lot of the religions that maybe are like cultish, are like cults. Like, for example, Jehovah's Witnesses and Scientologists. I wonder if atheists get together and do stuff like together. I wonder if atheists have like a leadership and like get together and make change on society and the world. A bunch of atheists. I mean, I think the Planet Saturn Club would be way more entertaining to get a following, to get people to join and to look at pictures of planet Saturn and discuss it. But so islands beyond the horizon. Why does it matter if some black holes are connected by wormholes? It turns out that they modify the answer of how much entanglement entropy there is between the black hole and its Hawking radiation. The key is to measure this entanglement entropy in the presence of multiple copies of the system. This is known as the replica trick. The relevant physical effect of these temporary wormholes is to swap out the interiors among the different black holes. This happens literally. What was in one black hole gets shoved into one of the other copies far away, and the original black hole assumes a new space-time interior from a different one. The swapped region of the black hole interior is called the island, and it encompasses almost the entire interior up to the event horizon. Doesn't like what if you study computer engineering, doesn't that sound similar to a concept in computer engineering? It really does, in my opinion, but I'm not going to elaborate right there. I mean, if you're a computer programmer, you can figure it out. So, it's really sad because, unfortunately, a lot of scientists have to make tough decisions. You know, they are, scientists are having to not only do science, but fight in a war. It's a war. It's a war of keeping secrets from the enemy and or trying to find the enemy's secrets. It's a war of manipulating the masses. And really, you know, like I said, in World War II, it was like Germans versus Russians versus Americans versus Japanese. Now it's a war of the scientists. And maybe it's a war of different scientists, like Russian scientists and German scientists. But really, people don't really go by nationality as much anymore. They still kind of do a little bit, obviously, like Russia, Ukraine. But really, it's the secret societies that are fighting. It's the Illuminati versus the Freemasons. It's the Jehovah's, even other religious cults like the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Scientologists, right? The Islam, and Islam actually is not just a bunch of crazy people. Islam actually has a basis in science and technology. Islam was some of like founded a lot of the science and technology we use today. Islam, so. Um, so someone came in and asked a question, and they wanted to know what this magazine is, and I'll show you what the magazine is because I'm a nice guy and this is a nice live stream. It's Scientific American Special Edition. So it's a special edition of the Scientific American magazine, and it's called The Dark Universe: Mysterious Cosmic Phenomena Shape Reality Itself. So I hope you understood that question. I mean, I hope I answered your question, not I hope you understood the question. You know, when you study foreign languages, sometimes it affects how you speak English. So, like when I'm studying Russian all day, well, in Russian, they have a different syntax in Russian. So the word order is different. So it's like, instead of saying I drive the car, in Russian, they might say like car drives me. So sometimes I'll be talking in English and suddenly say something like, uh, pass, like, uh, whatever, like car drives me. So you asked, what book, you said, what book is that? And I showed you it's a magazine, not a book. It said black holes. Black holes. It was talking about black holes. Black holes and wormholes. Black holes and wormholes. So I hope I answered your question, Wayne. Uh, I don't know how to say your last name, so I'm just gonna call you by your first name, Wayne. I hope that answered your question. It was the page was the magazine page was talking about black holes and wormholes, science black holes, science wormholes. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. I'm trying to kind of be a scientist, but at the same time, I believe in making science accessible to everyone. Even if you don't have you don't have to have a master's degree in physics to come to my channel. You don't have to be win a Nobel Prize to come to chat with science topics with me. You don't have to be a researcher at CERN or in Geneva, Switzerland. To be able to have a conversation with the Planet Saturn Club. The Planet Saturn Club is accessible to everyone. Everyone who has an interest or passion in science, regardless of your scientific background, whether a big scientific background or not, maybe a less scientific background, doesn't matter. I welcome everyone to the Planet Saturn Club and to come and discuss ideas and talk about different science theories and stuff. So I hope you feel welcomed here. Let's read this a little bit. Cosmic nothing. Huge empty patches of the universe could help solve some of the greatest mysteries in the cosmos. That's a good point. Often we might want to look at the shiniest star or things that flash, right? But, nothingness and not something not being in where it normally is kind of a clue sometimes. Like people want to look for evidence, but sometimes it's not finding evidence of something is actually evidence in itself, which is kind of a paradox. People want to look for evidence, but then at the same time, not finding evidence of something is also evidence in itself, which is kind of like a paradox a little bit. It's like evidence of the Big Bang, evidence of black holes, right? It's like not finding evidence of black holes is kind of actually acts kind of in some ways like evidence. It's hard when scientists have to communicate, but they have to be really careful and diplomatic what they say. Because remember, a lot of great scientists in history, they were persecuted. Scientists in history were persecuted for their beliefs. Remember? Um, Scientists who tried to say that Earth revolved around the sun rather than the sun revolving around the Earth, right? Um, Scientists like that got persecuted for saying stuff like that. And not much has changed, right? Not much really has changed because we live in a society with all these secret societies that are trying to keep information from the public. So imagine going and being a smart guy, a smart person, and saying, "Oh, I just discovered something," and revealing something. And suddenly, a secret society like the Illuminati doesn't want people to know that something. What do you think's going to happen to that scientist that thought he was so smart, just telling everyone, blurting out something in public, right? The next thing you know, that scientist, what happens, right? So you have to be careful. As much as I really would wish, I really hope that information, maybe in the future could just be like open and honest and available for everyone. But right now, these secret societies like the Illuminati, Scientologists, even Mensa, like the Mensa organization, the Freemasons, the Knights Templar, a lot of the Vatican is a secret society too. A lot of these secret societies, are keeping stuff from people and it's unfortunate. I kind of right now have a little bit of a fascination with paradoxes. How competing teams of researchers made the first breakthrough in one of the deepest mysteries of physics. It's kind of funny because when you think about it, if you notice the trend, and I'm a person who notices trends, I like to notice trends, not like dance trends, like, but like I like to notice trends in science, like patterns and trends. A lot of times, discoveries are made via blunders and mistakes. A lot of discoveries are made by accident. It kind of makes you wonder if there's more to that. Black holes, wormholes, and entanglement. Researchers cracked a paradox by considering what happens when the insides of black holes are connected by space-time wormholes. By Ahmed Almheri. The idea of getting something out of nothing may sound absurd, but absurdity. The idea of getting something out of nothing may sound absurd, but absurdity is not the worst allegation made against quantum mechanics. The irony is that Einstein himself is in a superposition of being both wrong and right. He was right to recognize the importance of entanglement in distinguishing quantum mechanics from classical physics. What he got wrong can be summed up with the truism. What he got wrong can be summed up with the truism correlation does not imply causation. Although the fates of the particles are inextricable, although the plate, one more time, sorry. Although the fates of the particles are inextricably correlated, the measurement outcome of one does not cause the outcome of the other. It turns out that quantum mechanics simply allows for a new higher degree of correlation than we are used to. Information lost. Because Hawking radiation is composed of one half of a collection of entangled pairs, it emerges from the black hole in a completely random state. If the particles were coins, if the particles were coins, they would be observed to be heads or tails with equal probability. Hence, we cannot infer anything useful about the contents of the black hole from the random measurement of the radiation. This means that an evaporating black hole is basically a glorified information shredder, except unlike the mechanical kind, it does a thorough job. We can measure the lack of information, or the randomness. Anyways. And with that, I bid adieu. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Sayonara. До свидания. Это все на сегодня. Спасибо за внимание. Bye. And talk to you later.